What it do? What it do? What it do? Mm. Hold on, we gotta get that right. Yeah. We straight now. All right, yeah. Welcome to another episode of the Promo Podcast. I am your host, Antoine Jones. I'm the only host as of right now. I want to apologize um, in advance. I've been doing episodes all week and I have yet to kind of change my setup. I got like some posters. I'm about to this junk look rinky dink. I'm gonna hook it up. I got a little lazy the past couple of days. I ain't really put this together the way I want to. This will be fixed. Straight up, this will be fixed. I gotta take these off. Yeah. This will be fixed though. Don't you worry about that. I been moving around, man. Been moving around. But today I got a special topic to discuss. My top 10 list is back. As always, the top 10s are just the culmination of my favorites within that category. Today, we go on board games. Um, I wanted to touch on this one actually a while back, and then you know how things go, man. Then I just bounce off. So here we are. We're about to get into it. My top 10 board games of all time currently. Up forewarned before I go any further, as always, these are my favorites. These are not some best of all time list. They're just my personal favorites. So if you hear me run these through and your favorite or what you think is the best board game is not on this list, don't know what to tell you. It ain't yours, all right? But if you have board game favorites, personal ones that interest you, please by all means put them in the comments. Let me know what you think. We can bounce off them. I'll let it hear what your favorite board games are as well. So as we get into it, let's start with the honorable mentions. First, I want to say that I'm a big fan of some games that are not technically considered board games. So I wanted to just kind of run them out the way first. Spades. If you grew up in I don't want to say black family, but that's the majority, I guess, right? If you just grew up in a family that plays spades at every event, then you know how that is. I'm a big spades fan. It's not one that I normally play at events because we talk about a crowd of 30 people and the four of you go and sit at a table and get a crack and you kind of like isolated from the party, right? You kind of want to stay within the group. So, you play games that kind of usually have at least 6 to 8 people at a time going on. So, but that's not a board game. I just wanted to run that one off. Also, D&D. That surprisingly, Dungeons and Dragons is technically considered a tabletop game, which is slightly different from a board game. So this one isn't on my list, but it's one of my favorite games of all time as well. So I just wanted to run that one off. Big D&D fan. Holla at me if you're a D&D player. Love to run a campaign with some homies. All right, honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. I got a few of them. I want to get them off the chest. Connect Four. I like Connect Four. I think that game was pretty cool, pretty solid. I've never had an issue with it. It's fun. It's kind of hard to beat me, but that's the competitive spirit in me. Connect Four is a cool game. It's not on my top 10 list, but I've always enjoyed Connect Four. I remember I used to when I was younger, I used to suck at it. But live and you learn, you get better as you go, right? Next one up, Battleship. This actually was one of my favorite games when I was younger. Like I was super big into Battleship. The craziest thing was it because it wasn't popular. You rarely like unless you had the game, you didn't really play it. From to my knowledge, especially like in spaces that I was in. I remember when I was younger, we used to go to this daycare that my mom worked at, and they didn't have a Battleship game. But I remember I would like go to like school or like certain community spots, and they'd have it, and I'd play it, excitedly. But it wasn't like a game that I had in the house because I don't think anybody really liked it like that, and it wasn't something that I would like see every day. So I loved the game, but I didn't play it that much. And as I got older, it kind of just faded away. Battleship was cool. I beg with Battleship, but it's not like one of my all time favorites. Life. Life is another one that I did not play a lot, but I really enjoyed it. Life is a stressful game because when you're a kid, you don't realize that it's literally just trying to get you ready for life. Like that's what that is about, right? You get the family, you have the kids. You go through some real life issues as you're traveling across the board. You lose things, you gain things. It's like you get older, and you realize, man, this game was trying to prepare me. This is a headache. That is a really uh, uh Twilight Zone type game is almost how I felt about it. Life was cool though, but I think life is one of those games that people struggle with, not because the game itself. I don't think the game was like hard or anything. I think it's just long. So if you're if you're a person that's just not, you try to sit down and rock out on life for like you know an extended period of time, then you're not gonna play it. So I enjoy life, but that isn't like one of my top favorite games. Another one is backgammon. I don't know how many of you play backgammon. Uh, I remember playing backgammon when I was younger. My mom, she loved it, and we used to have backgammon, like the suitcase. It was like the suitcase game set. You open the briefcase, join up. It was like a briefcase, open it up, and then the board was like right there. uh, she taught me how to play when I was younger, and I was a big fan of it. But I think like the last time I seen a backgammon like actual game was when we had it, and I don't remember when that was. It was so long ago. But that game was super dope. I remember she taught me how to play it, and like I just remember I didn't want to stop playing it. Like I really enjoyed that game, but I never bought it. I never had it or owned it. So I guess as time goes on, you kind of just like forget about it. And if somebody put a backgammon board in front of me now, I probably would have to relearn how to play it again. But that was a dope game. I enjoyed that one as well. Another one is Trivial Pursuit, that I would consider an honorable mention. I like Trivial Pursuit. I Another one, dope game. I remember we used to have one, and we had it like for parties and gatherings, get-togethers. So Trivial Pursuit was cool. I didn't think it was like anything that I would like play consistently over an extended period of time, but it was dope. So that's another one. That's another one that I would put on the list as an honorable mention, not necessarily a top 10. All right, let's get into the list though. Number 10, checkers. Checkers is kind of the simple go to. Hey, let's and when you're younger, you realize that people play it different. As you get older, you realize it as well. But once you get set in your ways, it's kind of like any other game that you play like with a group of people. Once you get set in the ways of how to play it, it's just that's how the game goes for you. And I never was opposed to checkers, but I mean, as I got older, I just got into way more things. I always thought it's a simple, fun game, learn how to play, and then you kind of just it's like riding a bike. You don't forget. You just kind of rock out with it. So, checkers, I will put on my list for number 10. I don't have any interesting stories for chess though. I mean checkers. It was fun though. It was fun. I don't own a checkers board now. Now I think about it, I don't. But 10, checkers. Number 9, liar's dice. I don't know if anybody's ever played it before. If you have, then it's fairly simple. You get 5 dice inside of a cup, shake them up, put them down, put the cup face down on the table, and you read your dice set. And the objective is to either like not get caught in the lie, or try to deceive others to think that you're lying when you read off the set amount of dice you have. If you have 3 5s, then you say like 3 5s, or you could lie and say 2 5s, and you kind of go around the board. If somebody peeps that you lying, then you lose a piece, and you keep rocking until you're done. Or if they think you lying and find out you was telling the truth, then they lose a piece and you keep rocking. I, I don't know. Dice games are interesting to me. I've always like gravitated towards them. Always gravitated towards dice games. I think dice games are pretty dope. That one, I remember seeing it on Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it was Dead Man's Chest. I think that was the second one. Yeah, and when homie was playing it against Davy Jones. Liar's Dice, number 9 for me. Number 8, Clue. I've always liked the games where you have to really think, get some thought going, get the mind brewing, simmering. Clue has always been fun to me. It's not one that I play a lot either, but we talking about like one of the oldest murder mystery games ever created, right? You know what I mean? You in a group of people, you got to figure out who done it, and you get the clues. You kind of get they give you like a couple of tips here and there, and you got to figure out who it is. I remember this one time we played. It was me and I think my brother, my cousins, one of our homegirls. We all, it was like 4 or 5 of us played. And I remember I went first, and on the card it asks obviously who you think done it, and just off the clues I kind of like just threw this wild answer out. It felt right, but I just threw it. I was the very beginning of the game, and I just remember my homegirl was next to me. Was just like, "How would he figure it out?" I think that was the last time I played it. That was like 10 years ago, but yeah, Clue is dope. Clue is dope. I need to get another one of those games. Clue is actually, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I gotta get Clue. I gotta get Clue. All right, next up. All right, we are on 8, right? Yes, right? Yeah, 7. My bad, 7. Candyland. Candyland, Candyland, Candyland. I like Candyland. I don't think it doesn't take much thought. The game is self-explanatory, and it's always fun though. I have your little shortcuts here and there. I remember Candyland was like there was a point in time when I was in a crazy creative phase. Like crazy creative phase. I was just making board games. And the reason why I started making board games was because of Candyland. Candyland was like the blueprint to board games for me. I would just start creating them on the back of cardboard boxes or on notebook paper. I would try to make this real intensive, like maze like board, and then I would have the shortcuts in it. And I only did that because Candyland had that already set up in theirs. That was like the traditional board game that I just ran rampant with. I just started trying to piggyback off of that blueprint and make other ones. That was my yeah, that was my jam. If I had to say Candyland was not necessarily crazy, but it was a fun one. I enjoy Candyland. It's not one that's complicated. It's not hard. Just fun. Just fun. Number 6. Sorry. I don't know how many of you have Sorry board games in your crib, but that one, I mean, I could play that all day. Sorry is hella fun. You know what I mean? Get your 4 pieces to home before anybody else do. And it don't take much thought into it. I remember when I was younger, they had it with the cards. I think it's still cards, but one time I played it and it was like a set of dice, and I was like, when they switched it to dice, I thought it was just you pluck the card, it tells you when to move or how many spaces to move. But again, it's just like a family wholesome game. I've always been a big fan of Sorry. I don't think that one is like too complicated, and now I'm at the age where my kids play it. So it's good for the family. Enjoy that game. Sorry is my jam. Number 5, Scrabble. I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm pretty good with words. When I'm writing, that is. When I'm writing, I don't think like it just random conversation. I'm about to give you half the dictionary. That ain't my jam. But if I'm like literally writing, I'm pretty good with these words. So like a game like Scrabble is perfect for me. That's perfect for me. I used to own the game. I'm pretty sure I bought it like 3 or 4 times over in the span of 15 years. Scrabble is pretty dope. That's my jam. I need to take that out of the closet and run it back. I'm do a Scrabble game. Do a Scrabble game. Number 4, Monopoly. I don't know how many of you play it. I'm pretty sure you're surprised that it's this low on the list. So, we talk about Monopoly. It's probably like one of the most popular games of all time. I'm a big Monopoly fan. I like Monopoly. I think Monopoly is, what you want to call it, uh, uh, a real family breaker. I mean, I'm talking about like friendships can end because of Monopoly. That game is pretty tough. I've had a couple of rough ones with people. I'm pretty sure in the span of my lifetime, I've knocked the board over 3 or 4 times. Monopoly is intense, but it's fun. It's fun. I remember when I was young, I learned how to count the money. I knew how much you had to start with, and after that, I was like, yo, every time I play, I'm banker, man. I'm banker. Then you kind of dictate the rules a little bit. You can skew them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many of you do that. I mean, you don't get too complicated, but Monopoly is fun. It's competitive, but fun. I'm telling you, I'm about taking everybody's money if I run it. I'll tell you that. Number three, Hive. I don't even know how old Hive is. That game, I stumbled upon it one day. My wife and I, we'll get up and head to Target or Walmart and we'll just start looking at games. I remember one, this was years back, we went and I seen Hive and I was like, what is this? I started reading. I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. It's just like a bunch of pieces. Like they look like dominoes, but they're hexagon shaped, and they got bugs on them. And the objective is to connect the pieces, uh, or move the pieces, putting them together without them ever separating. And both of you, you and your opponent, get like a queen bee piece, and your goal is to get 6 of your pieces around the opponent's queen bee piece before they can do the same to you. uh, that game is challenging. It's a lot of fun though. I remember when I bought it, I couldn't stop playing it. We would just run that joint like every other day. Like Hive was dope. That I actually advise a lot of people to get that game, even if for no other reason, just to learn how to play it, because it's pretty interesting. I couldn't believe it took me so long to actually discover that it existed. That's why I question now, how long has that game been out? Because I honestly don't know. That game is pretty fun though. Hive is dope. Hive is dope. Number two, Sequence. I don't know how many of y'all played Sequence before. I'm pretty sure plenty of you know what it is though. It's a simple board game. On the table, on the board, it has pictures of cards on it. It's like rows, it's like long rows of cards, and you get a deck. You and your opponent, you get 5 cards or 7 card deck, or seven card hand or 5 card hand. And basically, the card you pluck and pull out is where you lay the chip. Your goal is to get 5 chips in a row before your opponent does. Now, this game is competitive. It's so competitive. It is probably the only game that I play against my wife. Like we run this at least once a month. We run it, and she won't tell you, but I'd be smoking her in that joint. But sequence is, I don't know. I've grown to love it more and more every time I play it. I grow to love it more and more. It just gets competitive. You know what's crazy is I forgot that it's actually like you could play that game with multiple people. Like you have it 3 people. You could play like teams, and I totally forgot because every time we pull the game out, it's just me and her. Like I'm just playing. It's just a 2 player game. I just be ready to, you know what I'm saying. You got serves. It's time to run them up. But I totally forgot that you could play sequence with like multiple people, uh 3 or 4 people. I just totally forgot. But sequence, I don't know. The more I play it, the more I love it. It keeps climbing up the ranks, and and I went and did this list. I was like, dang, sequence is second on my list. I didn't realize I loved this so much. You don't realize it until you get to running with it, right? And number one, oh, oh dang, I almost broke my glasses. Chess. Chess. That is my game. That's always been my game. I can't tell you when I learned how to play chess. I just remember I was young. I remember I was young. I remember I was at a very early age when checkers was popping. And obviously, when you're young, that's the game that everyone loves. Checkers is the jam. Everybody loves checkers. And I started to learn how to play. I mean, it wasn't self-taught. Somebody taught me how to play. I just can't tell you who it was. I don't remember. I just remember learning how to play this game and being infatuated with it. And I've been infatuated with my entire life. I didn't have a set when I was young, though. I really wanted to. I just remember playing it all the time. Somehow, some way, if I ended up somewhere, I would see a chess set. I would, try to run with somebody. But when I finally got a set, that was like the game. I mean, me and my brother would play all the time. I was tired of smoking him because I used to tear him up. I mean, Every single time he got on a set with me, I was packing him up. So chess was a game that I like. I was like, I need to find more people, competitive spirit. I'm trying to, what I'm saying, hone the craft and get better at it. So I would I would always want to play it. But again, chess is like a two-player game. It's what I'm saying, depending on who you're playing with and how you're playing, the game could take forever. And don't nobody want to be at a function, what I'm saying, full of people just playing the little two-player game, just you and somebody else. It's gonna probably take up the whole entire event. So I only play it, in the comfort of home whenever I'm like with my kids, because my boys play it, and we'll just run it a couple of times. But chess is like the number one game for me. I have a set now that's just a rinky dink joint. I'm just holding out until I could buy me a big set. Matter of fact, I need to get me one. We're gonna revisit this video in like 3 months, and I'm actually gonna show you how the set that I get. I'm about to get a fly joint too. I'm gonna get a fly one. That's next on the list. I need to get me a chess set. Yeah, I need that. But chess number one for me. Now, I'm sure after running through the list that I just gave y'all on my top 10 favorites, I know a lot of y'all probably like, yo, I ain't hear Uno. I ain't hear Dominoes. I actually like Dominoes. I was supposed to put down my honorable mentions. My bad. My bad. I like Dominoes. I don't want nobody to attack me. Dominoes is cool. It's just not my top 10 list, but I like Dominoes. Uno, different story. I hate Uno. I can't stand that game. And now I'm about to go on my little riff. Bear with me, all right? Just bear with me. This is one of the craziest things. I've always hated Uno. I remember when I was introduced to Uno. You feel me? Introduced to it. I had to be at like back to my mom's daycare. They used to have all the board games at the daycare. I think it was called La Petite, and they had an Uno game, and I would go back there, and these kids would work me on that joint, and I was like, "This game is stupid." I've always hated Uno. I've never liked it. Was wild. Even wilder is that's probably the one game out of all the games I've spoken on tonight that I play the most, because we're always having a function and we're having a family gathering, we having an event. The Uno cards always come out, and you don't want to be the one isolated in the corner just drinking your little juice and eating your chicken, minding your business. You want to be, what I'm saying, in the mix. So I get on the table and I go pluck my 24 or whatever it is. They slam down on the table. I play that doggone game, but I never liked Uno. If anybody ever asks me what I want to play, I never say Uno. I never say it. God, I hate that game. Yeah, yeah. Uno is probably I. That's a diabolical game, and I've seen people argue over that. Have you ever seen an Uno argument? You seen people go off? It's an ugly sight. I wish I could destroy that game. God, I hate that joint. Yeah, but that's it. That's it. That is my 10 favorite board games of all time currently. Again, it may change in the next few years. That's how this works because I'm always playing. This is a board game house. We keep board games all the time, so I'm always playing them. In any given month, one of these on the list can jump up and down. It changes all the time. So yeah, that's my list. If you got 10 that you enjoy, throw them in the comments. Let me know how you feel. If you don't think my list was a hot fire, too bad. Don't care. Um, and as always, like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this video, man. I keep all the content coming, or I try to keep it coming. I think tomorrow I got uh a special live stream coming up. I ain't gonna talk about that yet. You'll see that tomorrow. But I know Friday I have SmackDown. I got a SmackDown recap, and then this weekend is WrestleMania. So you're gonna be seeing my face if you watching it. You're gonna see it with me. I'm trying to get a couple of live collabs popping somewhere down the line. I got to get my equipment a little better though. My setup is a little shoddy right now. I'm in the early stages still. You know what I mean? I still got to work on this before I link up with some peoples. But yeah, I'm trying to get some collabs going as next. Hit me up on all my social platforms. Holla at me if you want to talk about any of my top 10 list. You want to talk about wrestling? You want to talk about music? Hey, I'm here. Scream at your boy, all right? Y'all be easy. Holla at y'all later. And as always, catch you next time.